Gee, I sure can't wait to install this tail tidy. How am I gonna do it? I don't think I need this wire. Don't be stupid, stupid.
Did you just call me an idiot on this TV?
Yeah, but...
It's okay, don't be mad. I can say it too because I've made the same mistake in the past and I have learned the hard way that most of my electrical problems on old used bikes come from a mistake just like this. So today what we're gonna do is twofold. We're going to clean up the tail end on the street triple because it needs it, and I'm gonna show you how to install an electrical mod properly that requires you to tap into your wiring harness because it sounds scary, but it's really not. Two things real quick right at the top. First and foremost, this video is sponsored by QuadLock. They sent me this wireless charger right here so that I can install it on the giveaway street triple and show you how to do it right. And you can do this on any motorcycle. Doesn't matter whether you're riding a Harley, a sport bike, yo mama, you're putting it on a potato clock, it will work. It's super simple. And then secondly, you heard me mention it, I am giving away this street triple right here. And all of the links, regardless of whether it's QuadLock or to get entered, those links are down below. Now, let's get started by installing this tail tidy because this actually has to go on first because it's gonna make installing this a whole lot simpler. And I'm not really gonna walk you through it. Does anybody really need help installing a tail tidy at this point? Now Triumph guys, we have to have a quick little heart-to-heart, so lean in close. You know how you keep telling me in the comments that the 2022 RS we have here is not as good as the new one? You're kidding yourself, because this is a 2024 kit. It's not supposed to fit on the 22, and yet it bolted up with no problem because it's the exact same motorcycle. Sure, maybe there are some subtle differences year to year, but it's not anything that's going to massively change the motorcycle. And it's okay that you're telling yourself this lie. I do the same thing too. I justified buying my 22 Super Duke over a Gen 2, which was a little bit cheaper, because this one's supposed to be newer and fancier. But let's be real, we just wanted the newest, shiniest thing, and it's okay to admit that. We can begin the healing process together. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wake up pretty early in the morning.
Well, why'd I have to wake up pretty early in the morning?
For if you want to sneak one past me, bud.
But seriously, one thing that I can tell you is if you're doing this sort of mod at home, don't throw out the old part. Take all the takeoffs, put them in a bag and tape it together and then set it aside somewhere in the garage because the mods don't add value. And if you want to actually make the money back or at least try to get close to it, returning the bike to stock when you go to sell it is the best way. And by the way, whoever wins this motorcycle, you're gonna get a box with some takeoffs as well as some extra mods and the title from me. So just wanted to let you know. And with that, let's dive into installing the actual wireless charger, which is quote unquote, the hard part. One question you might be asking is why do all this work and use the tap version when they do have just a USB version ready to rock and roll? And yeah, the USB version works great. In fact, I have one on my Super Duke because I didn't want to pull the tank off to do all this work. Number A, using this tap version means that you're going to save your USB port for something else on your motorcycle, like charging a cardo or maybe even running some heated gear if you want. Letter 2, your USB port may not be waterproof, which means that if you get stuck in a rainstorm, you may end up damaging the USB port, and this is gonna be a lot safer under your seat. And the third thing is, I think this creates a much neater install because all the wiring is hidden underneath the motorcycle's body panels. And at the end of the day, it's really not all that much more difficult to install, and I'm gonna show you. One of the reasons why I chose this New Rage Cycles kit is because it breaks the wires down by circuit, so you've got your indicators separate from the brake light. And the brake light is, in my opinion, the single best circuit to tie into if you want a simple ignition-based circuit. So that means every time you turn the bike on, this light comes on, and anything that you tie into here will also come on. Then we're going to modify the most easily replaced part, and that is the light. So we're gonna pull the sheathing back a little bit, and then we're gonna take these, which are my posi taps. I use these instead of any of those like blade or pinch style connectors, just because these are much more permanent. They're much more secure, but they're super easy to take on and remove, and they're not gonna damage the actual wire they're on. So the first thing you do is you drop it into the motorcycle. That one is in there. Where'd you go, buddy? Oh, there it is. I see it. It's way the fuck in there. I'm actually gonna have to hunt this down because these are actually kind of expensive. That's the only downside. So you can't just drop one into the motorcycle and feel good about it. Just being like, oh, it's part of the bike now. No, I want it back. I want to use it. You ever played Operation before? This is basically the exact same thing. Got it. You saw nothing.
Allegedly.
The first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take the gray side and you're gonna pick a spot on the wire, and then you're just gonna run the tap down, and you're gonna tighten it down pretty good because the sheathing is actually what helps lock it in place. You're not tightening the crap out of it, just enough. Repeat on ground wire. Although, because this bike is British, I suppose they call it earth. There we go. Then you run the other side of the connector up the wire, shove the wire down in there, and then tighten it up. And boom, it's on there. Once again, the rubber insulation is actually what's keeping it locked in place. So, you know, you don't want to tighten it too hard, but you also don't need to. You just need to make sure that all the metal is contacting where it needs to be. As long as you got it close enough, it'll just sort of figure it out for you. And boom, it really is just that simple. And the beauty is, even though I've got the wire up here, because I can just loosen these up and take the wires out of the taps, I can reroute the wiring up underneath this part of the motorcycle so that when I come back in and do it again later, it's easy to remove and redo. Okay folks, as you can probably tell, I have switched cameras, and the reason why is because I'm mid-project on this and I don't actually love the way this is sitting on the motorcycle, and I have a solution. As you can see, it's pretty much right where I'd need it to be, and if it were my bike, I'd call it good enough, but it's not perfectly centered, and I want it to be perfectly centered. But the beauty is, Motivation is right up the highway from me, and they sell the Evotech quad lock phone mount, which actually goes right into the bolts that hold down the handlebars. So I can get it perfectly centered up, and it's gonna look even better. So let's hop in the car real quick. Quick little venue change, and we're over here at Motivation picking up the parts. I always like to come here because then I don't have to pay for shipping. So if you're in Austin, you can pick up your parts here, and they'll just hand it to you and save you a couple of bucks. All right, let's get this done. So one of my favorite things that I actually really like about Evotech is they don't use any plastic in their packaging. And so they actually have to do a lot of thinking about how they do it. And so here's all the quad lock stuff. And then the mounting hardware that we're gonna need. And some caps. And then the actual brackets themselves. So this is all gonna go on like so. Okay, easy enough. Let's figure this out. All right, so let's take the Pro mount off here. All right, let's see if it works. Ta-da! It's on. I did it. If you take nothing else away from this video, please let it be that you never need to hack up your stock wiring harness on your motorcycle. If you can avoid doing that, I can promise you, you are going to minimize your chances of having stupid electrical problems on your bike. A huge shout out to the folks at Quad Lock for sponsoring this video and helping me get this giveaway bike set up. And remember, if you want to get entered to win this thing, click the link down in the description. The next one you're gonna see on this is head-to-head against my Tuono 660, and we're gonna determine which one is the better middleweight naked bike.